Okay, so I've been leveling here in Season 1 of Diablo 4 for a few hours now. I didn't get to start playing right away, like right the minute the season launched. There was a little bit of issues with queues and stuff like that. I decided I wanted to switch to World Tier 2 and ended up in queue for 30 minutes. So it was a little bit rough sledding there out the start, and I didn't get to have the start that I wanted. Fell a little bit behind, but I've caught up decently well. I'm about to ding level 35 here, so it's going okay, and we're progressing pretty nicely. Last time I leveled up with the Sorcerer was my main in the preseason, and so far it's feeling pretty good to play on the Necromancer. The leveling is pretty smooth. I'm enjoying having the minions there for the passive damage and some of the AoE and target firing here of the Bone Spear. I'm kind of doing like a Bone Spear hybrid build. I did upload a dedicated video here earlier today on the channel kind of showcasing the leveling method I was going to be going with. We're just kind of letting minions clear stuff, and with our Golem, and then target firing some Bone Spears in there, and then popping Army of the Dead like you see right there when we have big engagements, and using the corpse tendrils to group things up and proc vulnerable. So going pretty smooth, and I'm liking the Necro so far in the leveling process. And then also the adjustment to World Tier 2 was definitely needed, and World Tier 2 felt really good for the first 30 levels or so. It did start to get tough because you start to lose pace with making sure all of your yellows are constantly upgraded and stuff. So you fall a little bit behind if you're going super efficient somewhere like the Onyx Watchtower or the Temple of Ra. If you're leveling up really quickly without like going to town and upgrading your gear and moving around aspects and really min-maxing your build, you can start to feel like you get outscaled a little bit. But World Tier 2 is definitely viable now. It's not like it used to be where you just felt awful if you weren't doing World Tier 1. You can at least justify if you're doing a good job, putting together your build and playing optimally, and you're an experienced player. It can make sense to do a World Tier 2 for sure during that first initial leveling process. But I did switch over to World Tier 1 once I hit about level 32 or so recently, just because I wanted it to go super smooth and super fast. I could feel it slowing down a little bit when I was trying to do the Temple of Ra. And if you haven't seen some of my recent content, the leveling method that I kind of went with early on was just getting different aspects I need, going around the different dungeons and just clearing world events and grabbing some of those important things I want to be able to place on my build, like the aspect of disobedience. So I went around, got up to level 17 or so. Then I came here to the Onyx Watchtower and cleared that for a while to get a good basis of blues and yellows and gear. And then I went down to the Temple of Ra right here, which is where you can get the best XP. Now, from what I'm seeing in my testing, is the Temple of Rot is the best XP, but you get way more drops in the Onyx Watchtower. So I think as like a hybrid method, if you're looking for something simple to do here to get a really good start, 1 to 40, 1 to 50 or whatever in Season 1, I would honestly just get to level 17 and clear the Onyx Watchtower over and over and over, reset, farm that, because you get so many drops that you can kind of keep up with the scaling, even if it is 15 to 20% worse XP per hour compared to the Temple of Ra or whatever. I still think it's a pretty good choice, because the Temple of Ra, you just don't get barely any gear. So your levels are going fast and you just slowly get weaker and weaker in relation to the enemies you're fighting. So I was liking just going with the Onyx Watchtower as kind of a hybrid of the two. But okay, let's talk about the seasonal mechanic, the Malignant Hearts. Now, a problem that I have with this seasonal mechanic is I think it's going to exacerbate one of the biggest issues right now in Diablo 4, and that is inventory space, stash space, storage space, and all of that. We didn't get the gems tab, which was a big bummer for Season 1, so we're still, while we're leveling, we're having all those gems constantly take up like the top row of our inventory eventually. You have to constantly go drop them off in your stash and all of that, but also this gets exacerbated by these hearts taking up inventory spots as well. So you end up in a situation where your inventory kind of looks something like this while you're playing, and you're losing like a row or two of your inventory, at least a full row, because you've got all these caged hearts taking up areas in your inventory as well. So it would have been nice if these would have gotten a tab as well, if we had like the gems and then like the Season 1 tab or something where it would place all of these. Now, it is nice that the invokers, these are a seasonal mechanic as well. The invokers go in a consumable tab, but our equipment slot, it's only 3 rows. So the inventory is already small, and it's not like Diablo 3 where some things only take up like one little slot, like a ring or something. Everything takes up one part of a row here, so it really fills up super fast, and it's going to feel a little bit bad for a lot of players out there because of the gems and the caged hearts taking up a ton of the inventory space. But as far as the abilities themselves, I mean, I can only speak for the Necro so far, but it does feel really good. I'm loving this one right here, where walking near a corpse automatically activates an equipped corpse skill every second. It feels really good to just run around and constantly have corpses blowing up as you just kind of walk through bursting stuff down, and corpses are blowing up all around you, proccing the effects of everything they do, regardless of what you're using, whether it's corpse explode or corpse tendrils to proc the vulnerable and stuff like that. So massive thumbs up on the design of that, and that's the kind of stuff that we want in game, stuff that really enables different playstyles and different builds and makes you feel more powerful and has more things kind of going on within your build. So that one I really like. Some of the other ones are super underwhelming and you don't even really notice them doing anything, but I definitely want to do some more testing and try a bunch of them out here on the Necro. But yeah, if you're playing the Necro, definitely give the corpses automatically activating a shot, because I'm having a lot of fun using that one here during leveling. So then the malignant tunnels. Now I haven't gotten a chance to clear a ton of these, but they're really like, I don't know. Like, you find an elite that is going to spawn a malignant heart for you to then farm them and get some of these caged hearts to drop. They have like a spawning time, so you end up standing there for like 10 seconds waiting for it to spawn, and then at the end of the dungeon you can keep going forward. It's like way out of the way after you clear the dungeon. It's like optional to go to the end where you can use these invokers to interact with the end mechanic of the tunnel dungeon to spend these invokers to try and go after the cage hearts that you want. I don't know. It feels like it could have been done a little bit better, a little bit more smooth, a little bit more interactive, because it is way out of the way. And then these elites take a long time to spawn. And then like the hearts don't, like, they're kind of hard to see. So you end up, like, when you're learning the mechanic, you end up almost missing them and telling your friends like, hey, come back, we didn't clear this heart. So I feel like the seasonal mechanic is really cool and it adds a lot to Diablo 4. It's going to be fun to play around with, but it wasn't executed super smooth because of the inventory issues it's causing, and then just how it feels kind of fighting the elites and how it works in the dungeons. It feels like it was just kind of thrown together a little bit. It could have been executed a little bit more properly. But yeah, so far so good. I'm having fun. Obviously season 1 isn't as like ridiculous amazing hype as we were all hoping it is, but I'm still gonna have fun playing through, leveling up, testing different builds and different classes, and theory crafting how these different caged hearts are going to work together, and keep going hard in the paint the rest of the day and try to get these levels, try to get up into world tier 4 by the end of the day if I can, and try to be efficient here. Probably got like 8 more hours of playing here before I can sleep, but I wanted to take a little bit of a break here, get something to eat, and then also share my thoughts so far as I'm leveling up in season 1. Let me know your thoughts down below, what class you're playing and all of that, and how it is going for you on your end. It's always fun to read through the different perspectives from you as well. So that'll do it for me on this one. Good luck on your grind in season 1, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks. Peace.